right, good to have you on board Monday here on the program. JD here, rested and ready to be tested. We always appreciate when you take some of your time to spend it with us here on the program, where intellectual anarchy is encouraged and nurtured for now. Hope you had a great weekend. Marcella working the dials, Brad producing the program, emails at the website, jerrydoyle.com. Poll question up there for you today. Pay attention, all of you NASCAR fans. This is for you. The House Appropriations Committee has voted to end all military sports sponsorships, including NASCAR. In the past 5 years, taxpayers have spent $136 million sponsoring Dale Earnhardt Jr. alone. What do you say to that? 49% say you agree. Stop the sponsorships. 31% say disagree. Valid marketing tool. And 21% say that there makes me pretty plumb darn angry. You can answer it there at the website or here at 800-876-4123. I was trying to figure out how I could put that answer in some kind of like Southernese, but it was I started to do all the spell, and the spell check started popping up, and I get into a huge battle with spell check. Say, no, I'm trying to talk as if I'm a Southern NASCAR fan, and I'm a NASCAR fan myself, even though I'm a Northeasterner, but that there is what I was trying to say with that there makes me plumb darn angry. We'll take your answer there at the website or here at 800-876-4123 on the program, where we like our flying a little turbulent, our women a little crazy, and our politics a little messy. You see this money we're spending on these sports sponsorships? When I first saw the headline, Congress wants to end sports sponsorships by the military, I was like, what do you, no, because, you see Army, you see National Guard. And then I started looking at the numbers. And this is once again where if Congress is involved, something's going to be screwed up. On face value, I'm like, no, man, going left at 200 miles an hour, winning races. Although Dale Earnhardt Jr., he hasn't won a race in a long time. Or maybe he's won one race in the last 5 years. But his record hasn't been that good, right, in the last 5 years. And $136 million is a lot of money. And when you look at the amount of money that they're spending, the House Appropriations Committee decided that they were going to put this amendment in and attach it to a $608 billion defense bill that prohibits every sports sponsorship from the United States military. It was passed by the House Appropriations Committee. Now it goes to the full Congress for a vote. One of the co-sponsors, and I'm reading it, and I want to reject this right off the bat, Representative Betty McCollum, Democrat from Minnesota. Because I figure it's a Democrat. Well, it's an election year. And the Democrats are going to be all about anything that supposedly is a waste of money, even though they waste as much money as anybody else. And she put out the numbers on military sports sponsorships, the most eye-opening of which they say is the amount taxpayers paid to sponsor Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car over the past 5 years, $136 million. In the past 2 years, the National Guard spent $121 million on sponsorships. $90 million of that went to NASCAR. Earnhardt himself, piping in on the matter, said that the Congresswoman and her co-sponsor, which is Jack Kingston, the Republican from Georgia, that they should do more homework and get more facts. Okay, so we went to go get the facts. The facts don't seem to be in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s favor. Major Brian Creech, Resources Contracts Manager for the National Guard Recruiting Division, in an interview with USA Today said that of the 24,800 individuals who were interested in joining the National Guard, thanks to the car racing sponsorship, 20 people qualified and none actually signed up. Now, I'm looking around at the sponsorships. First of all, 24,800 with zero as the fill factor doesn't seem to me to be money well spent. But sometimes there's passive advertising. Like, you see these commercials for Mercedes-Benz or for, Cadillac Escalade or something like that. Is there anybody out there that ever just was sitting there, on the blow-up chair and looking at that and going, you know what? I've never thought about buying a Mercedes, but based upon that advertising, I'm going to go buy a Mercedes. It's kind of a reinforcement advertising, or someone who's looking to transition from been a BMW for a long time. You're thinking about maybe I'll try a Mercedes. If you're in a Mercedes, you think I'm going to try a BMW or you're going to go with a Porsche or something like that. But it's not generally an ad that's supposed to just get your attention and just go, you know what? I could have had a V8. You know what? I could have had a Mercedes-Benz. But I'm thinking National Guard, Army, NASCAR seems to be an appropriate tie-in. But it also then goes to how they always say, It's the poor, dumb people that get preyed upon by the military. And if you listen to the Democrats, it's the poor, dumb NASCAR fans, which, by the way, NASCAR has the highest dollar average income of any sporting event in the country. So it's not the stereotype that the Democrats try and throw out there. But you would think that if it was NASCAR, they'd just be signing up in droves. 24,800 National Guard recruiter, 20 people qualified, 0 decided to sign up. But you go a little further into the material, and then you start to look at politics, and you start to look at Congress, and you start to look at where the dollars are being spent. And just like bringing home the bacon for any congressman or woman that wants to say, see, look at all the good things I'm doing, when you take a look at where these teams are based and in whose districts they are, you can pretty much always follow the money and get a pretty good idea of why the decisions are made that Congress makes and why the stuff that should be getting done isn't and the stuff that shouldn't be getting done is. Now, what about the free market? What about standing on its own? Shouldn't Dale Earnhardt and his team have to be able to attract their own sponsorship? Shouldn't they have to stand on their own 2 feet? And this goes to the whole notion of Congress deciding winners and losers. This is something they should not be in the game of. They shouldn't be in any game, much less politics, because they suck at that. And now supposedly they're going to be able to pick winners in NASCAR. And they picked the guy who's maybe won one race in the last 5 years to the tune of $136 million in the last 5 years. I got a better idea. Of the $250 million in just those 2 sponsorships, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the National Guard, why don't we take that money and just give it to the soldiers who served in Iraq and Afghanistan? If you're looking for a marketing tool for someone who might inspire someone else to want to be a part of the military, I would have to think that the people who have been in the military and who still sing the praises of the military would be better served getting the money rather than watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. turn left at 200 miles an hour. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I was driving my car out at the racetrack. There's this good old boy out there. I had to go through the kind of ground school training. And everybody's like, well, the G-forces and the centrifugal nature of the track and a 32-degree bank coming out of turn number 2 and blah, 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 blah. And then they go through the whole thing. And finally, this guy just looks at me and he goes, here's all you got to know. He goes, it's 1.1 miles if you turn left. It's 60 feet if you turn right. That's pretty much it. That's all you got to know out there. But then when you got 40 guys around you and gals, no offense there, didn't mean to leave the GoDaddy girl out. Who did you see? Who did she drive into the wall a couple of weeks ago after the race was over? She clipped somebody. Was it Kenseth? Matt Kenseth or something like that? But anyways, Danica Patrick got worked, and after the race, they just started talking to her. They go, what happened? She goes, I don't know. Just something happened, and he ended up in the wall. So I was like, good for her. She doesn't need a sponsorship, although GoDaddy seems to be a pretty good sponsor for her, but she doesn't need the military. Give the military the money. Let the military be the sponsors of themselves, and let them promote themselves, and let the NASCAR folks figure out for themselves who the winners and the losers are based upon who's in the winner's circle, not what congressman is on what committee that can decide who the winners are going to be in the appropriations funding game. Lots to get to on the program today, Monday here on the show. We've covered the NASCAR subsidies. We've now got a new term for a new kind of job that's being done. Men doing the job that women used to want to do. Pink collar jobs, they're referred to. And as women run against the glass ceiling, the men seem to be on the glass escalator. Hey, did you see the latest trade deal we had with Communist China? We got the blind dissident. They got the AMC movie theater chain. We've also got the Facebook underwriters coming out and saying we were there to help the market. They were acting as stabilization agents. That would be also, I guess, market manipulators. Oh, speaking of Commie China, you know what you can get with your McDonald's Happy Meal in China? You can get Happy Meal math. We got the 9th Short Circuit Court of Appeals with the $1 million Hawaii getaway vacay. We've also got Arizona birther hope. Wait to hear this one. The NAACP is back in same-sex marriage. We've got a student loan bubble. Our education's underwater. And a fat tax. Tax fat people instead of the food that's supposedly making them fat. The California high-speed train wreck. And today they're burying the Pan Am bomber McGrahy. When we get back, I have some suggestions on how he should be put in the ground. Your suggestions, your comments, and your calls at 800-876-4123. I'm Jerry Doyle. Join me.
This is the Jerry Doyle Show.